Welcome back guys to the channel. I am Danny Burke here on Most Amazing Top 10, and we talk a lot about video games. Maybe we give you like a mind-blowing fact about them, but there's a bit of a darker side to everything out there, and video games are no exception. So we're going to be talking about deaths that are related to video games. Now obviously guys, there are many factors involved in these cases, and it's obviously not just a video game's fault, but still, how did they all happen? Let's find out, shall we, in the top 10 deaths caused by playing video games. Starting things off at number 10. In 2010, Alexandra Tobias from Florida was sentenced to 50 years in prison for shaking her 3-month-old son to death in a fit of rage. Now, what was the reason for that? Well, because the baby wouldn't stop crying when she was trying to play Farmville, the popular Facebook game. Sounds absolutely unbelievable, doesn't it? But sadly, it's not. It really happened. She pleaded guilty to the murder and told investigators that she shook the baby, smoked a cigarette to calm herself down, and then went back and shook the baby again. Wow. He eventually hit his head hard enough times that he died from his injuries. At number 9 now, in 2005, a Shanghai gamer was sentenced to life for killing another gamer. Xiao Yi had lent a sword to Chu Kaoyuan in the game Legend of Mer 3. Now when he came to get it back, he found Chu had sold the sword to someone else. Xiao went to the police to report this as a crime, but they said, "We can't do anything because the sword itself isn't physically real, so it's not classed as stealing." Now Xiao flew into a huge rage and confronted Chu in his own home. He offered to give him money to make up for it and apologize, but it was too late. Xiao stabbed him in the chest with massive force, which killed him and earned him a suspended life sentence. Moving on to number 8, South Korean gamer Lee Seung-sop died from a cardiac arrest in an internet cafe. It emerged that he had been playing StarCraft for almost 50 hours straight. What? Think about that, that's more than 2 days of solid playing, and he only had a couple of different sleep or meal breaks. Now it turned out that he had been fired from his job for being late due to video games, and his girlfriend had also broken up with him recently, and even his family knew that he was a total video game addict. He was found in his chair, conscious with his eyes closed, but later died in hospital. In at number 7, in 2004, Warren LeBlanc was a 17-year-old from the UK who was more than slightly obsessed with the video game Manhunt. The game caused a lot of controversy when it came out for its very graphic scenes of violence and was even banned in some parts of the world. One day, Warren wanted to emulate that kind of violence in real life, so he lured 13-year-old Stefan Pakira to a local park to steal from him. In the end though, he killed Stefan with a claw hammer. Now it's thought that he was at least partially inspired to carry out this attack because of Manhunt, but the game's makers were quick to point out that they put an 18 and over label on the game, and also that simply owning the game can't lead to events such as this. What do you guys think? Alright, next up at number 6 now, we have a story coming out of Russia between two rival guilds in the popular MMO game Lineage 2. The details on this one are a bit thin on the ground, but what we do know is crazy. Apparently one of them was killed in the game, and instead of settling their differences in the online world, they met up for a brawl in real life. Now in the end, the 33-year-old clan leader Albert Nureyev got so badly injured in the fight that he had to be rushed to hospital, but sadly died on the way. How mental is that? As games get more and more realistic and immersive, do you think people will struggle to see the line between games and reality? I don't know. That's why I'm asking you guys. Coming in at number 5, we have Daniel Petrick. Now he shot his parents because they took away his copy of Halo 3. When Daniel was 16 in September 2007, he snuck out of his bedroom window to buy the game. When his parents found him with it, they took it away and put it in a lockbox. They said it was too violent and sexually explicit. But after a month, Daniel used his dad's key to open that lockbox where he found the game and a 9mm handgun. He walked into the living room behind them and said, "Would you guys close your eyes? I have a surprise for you." He then shot them both in the head. His mother died right there, but his father survived, although critically injured, and has since tried to repair the relationship with Daniel, who is now in prison serving 23 years. Next up at number 4 now, we have a Pokemon Go death from Guatemala. Cousins Jerson and Daniel, aged 18 and 17, were out hunting for Pokemon in the city of Chiquimula when they spotted a rare Pokemon in a house nearby. Now, they couldn't seem to get close enough to it from where they were in the street to catch it, and so they decided to break into the house to get closer. Unfortunately, whoever was there at the time didn't take too kindly to the intrusion and opened fire on them. This ended up killing Jerson and leaving Daniel badly wounded. It's thought this is the first ever case of a death caused by Pokemon Go. Moving on to number 3, in 2008, Tyrone Spellman was convicted of the 3rd-degree murder of his 17-month-old daughter, Alea. Tyrone was an avid Xbox gamer who would sometimes spend up to 7 hours a day playing on it. One day, he was playing Ghost Recon and his wife was asleep in the next room. His daughter pulled on one of the Xbox cables by accident and made it fall to the ground. Tyrone then pummeled her to her death. He cracked her skull several times. He said that he did it because he thought she had broken the $600 Xbox that actually belonged to his brother and he didn't have the money to pay him back. Wow. He was sentenced to 22.5 to 45 years in prison. Next up at number 2 now, we have the story of 13-year-old Xiao Yi who committed suicide by jumping off a 24-story building. His family found a suicide note that was apparently written through the perspective of his World of Warcraft character. He said the reason that he was killing himself was because he hoped he would be reunited with 3 of his gaming friends in the afterlife. Now, he didn't actually mention or address his parents at all in this suicide note, who later said their son had been poisoned by games and could no longer control himself. And finally now, at number 1, we have Devin Moore. Now, back in 2003, 18-year-old Devin was booked for committing real-life Grand Theft Auto. But this was no accident, as he was actually obsessed with Grand Theft Auto Vice City, the video game, at that time. But the lines between reality and video game had already blurred so much for him that when he got booked by the police officers for the real-life Grand Theft Auto, he grabbed one of their pistols and killed all 3 officers at that police station. He then stole a police car and fled from the scene. Now, before he killed them, Devin actually said, "Life is a video game, you've got to die sometimes." He was caught not long after this and sentenced to death by lethal injection, while the families of the victims actually attempted to sue Sony, Walmart and GameStop for their part in the making and distribution of GTA Vice City. So there you go, guys. What do you think of all of these? Personally, I feel like there's a million different things that can lead people to do the things that they've done on this list. I think video games are a bit of a scapegoat sometimes, but hey, that's just me. Let's discuss it down there in the comments section. My name is Danny Burke. Thanks for checking out Most Amazing Top 10. You can find me on Instagram somewhere down there, and I'll see all you guys in the next one.